Man, things got intense in Baltimore after that game. The Ravens got the win, but the locker room wasn't all smiles. Reporters noticed Rashad Bateman walking around with a boot on his right foot, and that immediately raised alarms. When asked about it, Bateman confirmed what everyone feared. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain. That's never a good phrase to hear in football, especially for a wide receiver who depends so much on cutting, planting, and that explosive burst off the line. Still, Bateman tried to keep it positive. He said he doesn't expect to miss too much time, though the details around how it happened have left a lot of fans frustrated, and honestly, rightfully so. He explained that the injury came when he was tackled reaching for the end zone midway through the third quarter. And the wild part? No flag. Not a single one. Bateman even admitted he was surprised that nothing was called because, to him, it looked like a clear penalty. On the play, Lamar Jackson found Bateman on a short 10-yard route. Bateman caught it, turned upfield, and that's when the defender, looked like Isaiah Rodgers for the Vikings, came in with what appeared to be a hip drop tackle. And for anyone who's followed the league lately, that term sends a chill down your spine. It's one of those tackles that the NFL keeps saying it's trying to get out of the game because of how dangerous it is, yet somehow it still keeps happening. If you slow it down, you can see exactly what Bateman's talking about. Rodgers comes in from behind, leaves his feet, grabs hold, and then basically drops all his weight down onto Bateman's leg. That motion, where the defender's full body weight lands on the lower leg of the offensive player, is exactly what the league defined as a hip drop tackle. It's a move that can easily twist or even break an ankle. The NFL's made it a point of emphasis to call those, but let's be honest, it's been all talk. They find players after the fact, sure, but in the moment, flags rarely fly. And that's what's frustrating. If you're going to claim you care about players' safety, then you actually have to back it up on the field. This wasn't just some random hit either. Bateman was about to score. He had his eyes on the end zone. The crowd was already getting loud. And then boom, he gets yanked down awkwardly. Plays like that can change the course of a season. The Ravens are in the middle of building momentum, fighting to stay alive in the playoff picture. And suddenly one of their most dynamic receivers might have to miss time because of a play the NFL itself says shouldn't happen anymore. It's beyond frustrating for the team, for the fans, and honestly for every player who's ever been on the wrong end of one of those hits. John Harbaugh will definitely get questions about it. People will want to know how bad the injury is, what the recovery timeline looks like, and how the team plans to adjust without Bateman. But even before we get those updates, the bigger conversation has to be about the league and its inconsistency. The NFL has been preaching player safety for years. Helmet rules, roughing the passer, even how kickoffs are handled. But then you get a clear textbook case of a hip drop tackle, one that literally checks every box the league outlined, and there's nothing. No flag, no accountability, just another injured player. You can't have it both ways. Either enforce the rules or stop pretending you care. The league made this kind of tackle a point of emphasis because it's been proven over and over again to cause major injuries. Players have lost entire seasons, sometimes even their careers, because of it. Yet, here we are again, talking about another example that went uncalled in real time. It's not like referees don't know what to look for. You can see it clear as day when a player leaves his feet to drag someone down from behind. It's a simple motion. But somehow, in the chaos of a live play, the refs are missing it, or maybe just not prioritizing it. The NFL's job is to make sure that doesn't happen. When you talk about player safety as much as they do, it has to mean something. You can't just say it's important and then let moments like this slide. This isn't about slowing the game down or making refs hesitate. It's about protecting players from unnecessary injuries. Because here's the thing, Bateman's situation could have been a lot worse. We've seen guys suffer ligament tears, broken bones, even season-ending damage from the exact same kind of tackle. And it's not just him. We've seen quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, all types of players get hurt this way. Even in other games this season, there have been examples. In the Chargers game, for instance, there was a similar tackle on Justin Herbert. It's becoming a trend, and that's the scary part. When something like this becomes normal, it's a sign that the system meant to prevent it isn't working. Fans, coaches, and players are noticing. You can't keep calling it a point of emphasis and then fail to emphasize it. Either make it a real rule with consequences on the field or stop pretending that fines weeks later fix anything. A fine doesn't heal an ankle. It doesn't change the fact that a player like Rashad Bateman now has to deal with pain, rehab, and uncertainty while his team keeps pushing forward. And yeah, Bateman did make it back into the game, which is impressive. He even caught a two-point conversion later in the fourth quarter, showing that competitive fire that fans love about him. But that doesn't mean the injury isn't serious. High ankle sprains are tricky. Depending on the grade, recovery can take anywhere from a couple of weeks to 2 or even 3 months. And for someone like Bateman, whose game is built on speed, acceleration, and sharp cuts, even a mild version of that injury can affect performance. It's one of those things you can't rush. There's already talk that maybe he could be back for that Thanksgiving matchup against the Bengals, but that might be wishful thinking. Even if the sprain isn't too severe, short weeks and high workloads don't mix well with recovering ankles. If the Ravens are smart, they'll take it slow, maybe target a December return once he's fully ready. Baltimore's offense has other weapons, and forcing Bateman back too soon could just make things worse. But you can tell how much this frustrates players. Imagine putting everything on the line, playing through hits, battling through the grind of the season, and then you get taken out by something that's not even supposed to be legal anymore. It makes you question what the league's priorities really are. Are they actually serious about safety, or is it just another PR move to look like they care? Because the reality is, every time a tackle like this happens and no flag comes out, it sends a message that the rules don't matter. And it's not only about this one play or this one player. It's about what happens when you let these things slide again and again. Players start to lose trust in the system that's supposed to protect them. Coaches get angry because they see their guys getting hurt on preventable plays. Fans get cynical because they see the hypocrisy, find speeches about safety on one hand and silence on the other when someone actually gets hurt. It's a bad look for the league, plain and simple. Now the Ravens are left to adjust without one of their top receivers, at least for a while. It's not an ideal situation, but it's one they've faced before. This team's depth will be tested again, and Lamar Jackson will need to lean even more on his chemistry with guys like Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Still, you can't shake the feeling that this whole situation could have been avoided. That's what makes it sting the most. Bateman didn't get hurt on some fluke accident. It happened on a play that's been talked about, studied, and supposedly outlawed. And yet, here we are, talking about another high ankle sprain because the rule wasn't enforced. You can bet John Harbaugh and the Ravens coaching staff will bring this up, even if subtly. They won't want to get fined for criticizing officials, but the message will be clear: enough is enough. Either protect the players or stop pretending to. Because if the league keeps ignoring these obvious calls, the talk about player safety becomes nothing more than empty words. And for teams like the Ravens, who are trying to build something special this season, that's not just frustrating, it's infuriating. As the conversation around Bateman's injury continued, another layer of frustration settled over the Ravens fan base. It wasn't only about the missed call or the questionable tackle. It was about the bigger picture. How many times have we seen the league promise change, only for the same mistakes to happen again and again? You can almost feel the sense of exhaustion when players talk about points of emphasis. It's the same speech every season, the same promise that certain hits will be eliminated, and yet when Sunday rolls around, the whistles stay silent. John Harbaugh will likely keep his comments measured, but deep down, he's got to be frustrated. He's lost players to these kinds of hits before. The Ravens have been through injury waves that derailed entire seasons. Every time something like this happens, it's a reminder of how fragile a football year can be. You can prepare perfectly, build the best roster possible, but all it takes is one bad tackle, one missed call, and your plans change overnight. That's what makes this situation so aggravating for everyone involved. Bateman's case feels especially cruel because of the timing. The Ravens were just starting to find their rhythm again. Lamar Jackson looked more comfortable than he's been in weeks. The offense was spreading the ball around, and Bateman was finally looking like his old self, confident, quick, sharp in and out of routes. He'd battled through injuries before and was starting to remind everyone why he was drafted in the first round. To see him limping off, with that boot on his foot, was like déjà vu for fans who have watched too many seasons slip away because of health issues. What's worse is the uncertainty that follows a high ankle sprain. It's not a clean-cut recovery like a minor bruise or even a simple sprain. The rehab can vary dramatically depending on the severity. Some guys come back in 2 weeks. Others take 2 months. The ligaments around that area are complex, and when the swelling hits, it can linger. You can tape it, you can brace it, but until it fully stabilizes, every step feels risky. For a receiver who relies on acceleration and planting with power, it's a nightmare. Even though Bateman came back late in the game and caught that two-point conversion, it doesn't mean he's fine. Adrenaline can mask pain, and in the heat of the moment, players will push through anything to help their team. The real test comes the next day, when the adrenaline wears off and the swelling sets in. That's when reality hits. The team's medical staff will do scans, evaluate the damage, and decide on a timeline. But given how cautious the Ravens have been with injuries lately, it's safe to assume they won't rush him back. Now the question becomes how this affects Baltimore's offense moving forward. They've been building chemistry between Lamar and his receivers, and losing Bateman could slow that progress. Zay Flowers has stepped up, no doubt, and Mark Andrews is still the reliable target in key downs. But Bateman brings something unique to this group, a balance between route precision and explosiveness. When he's healthy, defenses have to respect his ability to stretch the field, which opens things up for everyone else. Without him, defenses can tighten up, focus more on Andrews, and force Lamar to rely on short passes. The silver lining here is that Bateman's injury doesn't appear to be season-ending. The fact that he returned to the field is a good sign, even if it was brief. But the Ravens have to be smart about it. They've already weathered too many storms with injuries over the past few years. One thing this team has learned is that depth matters more than anything. That next man-up mentality has kept them competitive in the toughest stretches. Now it'll be tested again. And while fans are worrying about Bateman, there's another injury to watch. Rookie linebacker Jay Higgins apparently left the locker room with a large brace on his knee. Another hit to the team's depth, another concern for a roster that can't seem to stay fully healthy. Higgins has been an important piece on special teams, and losing him would be another blow. Injuries have a way of snowballing in this league, and it's always the teams that manage to stay relatively healthy that make deep postseason runs. Still, amid all this, there's something quietly impressive about how the Ravens have handled adversity this season. After that rough 1-5 start, they've clawed their way back into contention. They're sitting at 4-5 now, just one game behind Pittsburgh for the division, and with 5 divisional games left on the schedule, everything is still wide open. This group has shown resilience, and as long as Lamar Jackson stays healthy and in rhythm, Baltimore has a real shot to keep climbing. And speaking of Lamar, he's looked sharp lately, poised, calm, and completely in control of the offense. The chemistry with Todd Monken's play calling is finally starting to click. The passing game is flowing smoother, the running game has found balance, and the team is managing to close out games they were losing earlier in the season. It's a sign of growth, but also a reminder that they can't afford to lose key contributors like Bateman if they want to sustain this push. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Whispers are circulating through the NFL corridors, and all eyes are on Kevin O'Connell, the head coach who has never been shy about making his voice heard. Sources suggest that O'Connell has been turning up the heat behind closed doors, demanding absolute transparency on pivotal plays in the clash against the Ravens. While the public only sees a few seconds on the screen, insiders hint at a deeper tension brewing, with the coach allegedly insisting that every controversial call be dissected, analyzed, and justified. According to League Whispers, O'Connell is frustrated with what he perceives as inconsistencies in officiating, and he isn't alone in voicing concerns. Players reportedly feed him a constant stream of observations, and coaching staff members are said to be poring over video clips late into the night. There's talk that O'Connell wants not just explanations, but a full accounting. Every decision that could swing momentum in a critical matchup must be transparent, he insists. It's the kind of intensity that has teammates and analysts speculating. Is this a tactical masterstroke or a sign of mounting pressure on a coach whose team is under the microscope? Fans have started to pick up on the vibe as well. Social media is abuzz with theories about what O'Connell's demands might mean for the game's flow and how the Ravens will respond. Some insiders hint at heated meetings, with coaching aides allegedly challenged to justify strategy choices in real time. Rumors even suggest that the transparency push could extend beyond referees, encompassing all aspects of game preparation, from play-calling tendencies to practice adjustments. Whether it's a psychological tactic to gain an edge or simply O'Connell holding fast to his principles, one thing is clear: the NFL rumor mill is alive, and the suspense surrounding the O'Connell Ravens dynamic is driving conversations in locker rooms, broadcast studios, and fan forums alike. The coach's insistence on clarity is being framed as both a potential game-changer and a source of mounting intrigue. Everyone is watching, and no one is quite sure how the story will unfold. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.